Now on Coast TV News.
No bark at the beach, where Lewes officials are looking to keep dogs off the sand during the summer season.
Plus, lawmakers target airlines. The new legislation that could get to the floor of the Delaware General Assembly that takes aim at the businesses assisting ICE.
Good Wednesday morning, Delmarva. We're beginning in the 30s, pushing the lower 50s this afternoon, and it gets even milder in the days ahead with the threat of heavy rain.
Blue Hens Bowl Night. Delaware adds to their history with postseason FBS play.
This is Coast TV News Today.
Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick.
Good morning, Matt, and I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us during our 5 o'clock hour.
And Grace, technically we're in the fall season, and according to Chris, sounds like we'll have fall-like temperatures today.
I don't want to hear it. Fall, winter. I know. You didn't think I heard this.
Oh, no.
This morning, Matt's humming to himself.
Oh, no.
Summer lovin', na 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 na. I heard it. I heard it.
Guilty as charged on that one. I don't think Chris heard it, which is a good thing, but let's hear from Chris right now. First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono is in the Weather Center. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yes, we are under a warming trend, and that will begin this afternoon. Still a bit cold out there in certain areas of the peninsula. 37 in Ocean City, and we're running a good 5 to near 11 degrees warmer than where we were at just this time yesterday. But our colder areas, Harrington 25, Bridgeville 26, we're at 26 in Georgetown. Milder at the beaches, we're at 34 in Rehoboth, 36 in Bethany Beach. You can see the wind flow out of the southwest, generally between 5 to 10 miles an hour. So wind chill's not all that bad. Feels like 19 in Georgetown, 23 in Bridgeville, milder at the beaches. Now we are under the influence of high pressure pushing offshore. You can see that high off the coast there. A weak cold front is going to be pushing through later on today, not bringing us any moisture. Just some added cloud cover through the day today. Will rise to 38 by around 9, eventually topping out in the low 40s, low 50s this afternoon. And then it turns even milder as we go into the day on Thursday, pushing 60 degrees. That's ahead of a strong cold front that's going to bring rain and wind to the area as we go into Friday morning. We have a yellow alert in play. Could see some heavy rain, and I'll have the latest on how much rain we could expect to see, and I'll look at that early weekend forecast in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour, rules for dogs on the beach in Lewes. Today, the city's ad hoc committee is looking at a potential change to its dog ordinance. The proposed ordinance looks to ban dogs on beaches during the entire summer season in the restricted areas, which the city says are beaches with lifeguards. The city says this is to eliminate confusion and to prevent dog waste from being left on the beach. The ad hoc committee is meeting this morning at 11. Now, here's a look at where the ban could go in place. It is Savannah Beach and Johnny Walker Beach. That is part of the areas included in these new rules. You can see the areas that we're showing you on your screen. Currently, dogs are not allowed on the beach in Lewes from May 1st to September 30th. The new rules would ban dogs at guarded beaches during peak season.
Now here's a look at an accessory dwelling unit, which is when a main house and a second independent living space sit on the same property. New this morning, the Lewes Planning Commission will discuss the rules surrounding these properties, specifically the requirement that property owners must live in one part of an ADU. In a beach community like Lewes, the city says there are several existing ADUs where both units are being used as short-term rentals, and that those people are breaking the rules according to code. According to the code, the property owner must live in one of the units. Realtor Leanne Wilkinson previously wrote a letter to the Lewes Planning Commission saying the ADU ordinance needs to be looked at closer to make things more fair.
If you don't count the duplexes, if you don't count the townhouse communities, condo communities, those all are allowed to be rented as short-term rentals, all of them. So why does this poor little 2.6% of our homes not get the same rights that everybody else has?
The Lewes Planning Commission will gather tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Now we're going to stay in Lewes for this next story here. The city is taking a look at the impact of its 2024 wetlands ordinance to private property owners. Ordinance Review Ad Hoc Committee, again, is meeting this morning at 10. And one area of attention is the ability to remodel existing structures or new structures. The ordinance regulating these areas states its purpose is to increase buffers in wetlands.
Conversation continuing on the 4th Street Preserve in Lewes. According to the subcommittee, the project task force is looking at the master plan implementation. In November, the Delaware Master Naturalist Program began the first phase of invasive plant removal at the 4th Street Preserve. The Lewes 4th Street Preserve subcommittee meeting this afternoon at 2 p.m.
Also this afternoon, BB Healthcare will break ground on its newest health campus in Millsboro. This is located near the new bypass at Sheep Pen Road and Route 20. And BB says this new facility will include a freestanding emergency department with pediatric care, walk-in services, lab services, and a retail pharmacy. For directions on how to get there and what can be expected out of the new building, you can search for the article on our website, CoastTV.com. Authorities are continuing to investigate a school bus crash in South New Jersey. This sent several people to the hospital. On Tuesday, students, a school bus driver, and 3 other people were injured after a school bus collided with a car. You can see that car damaged right there. Police say 6 students, the bus driver, and 3 people traveling in the other vehicle were taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
You may already know that Avelo Airlines, which operates out of Wilmington Airport, works with Immigration and Customs Enforcement on deportation flights. Now, some Democrats at the Delaware General Assembly are looking to cut off incentives for airlines who do so.
2 new bills would block things like airport contracts and fuel tax breaks for airlines that fly detainees without proper court approval. Democrats say the goal is to make sure public dollars don't support what they call reckless immigration enforcement.
The measures are expected to be filed this week and taken up when the legislative session begins January 13th.
Maryland lawmakers are welcoming a new Speaker of the House after Tuesday's session. Jocelyn Pena Melnick is the new leader of the Maryland House of Delegates. She's a Democrat from Prince George's County. She succeeds Adrienne Jones, who announced that she was stepping down from that leadership position after 6 years. And Maryland lawmakers will return to Annapolis for the start of the regular General Assembly session on January 14th.
Thanks to know, Maryland lawmakers decided on more than just a new House Speaker on Tuesday. According to officials, they overrode several of Governor Westmore's vetoes. This includes one for a study to provide preparations for the descendants of enslaved people. Also, a study on the community impact of data centers in the state, and a veto of the Renew Act. That's a climate change legislation that holds polluters financially responsible.
And we are now taking a live look this morning at Washington, D.C. In that building, House Republicans are set to vote today on one more proposal aimed at reducing health care costs. And this just in, the vote, though, faces some stiff odds, with lawmakers divided over the right approach.
And currently, no deal has been made to extend enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how this could mean insurance premiums are almost guaranteed to shoot up for millions of Americans covered under Obamacare.
This morning, growing anxiety over a looming spike in health care costs, with House Republican leadership opting not to vote on extending Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire in 2 weeks after failing to reach agreement with GOP moderates.
We're all trying to solve very complicated questions and challenges, and sometimes there's frustration with the process.
Among those moderates,
I think it's idiotic not to have an up or down vote on this issue.
Congressman Mike Lawler of New York, who called it political malpractice to not vote on extending the subsidies with conservative reforms.
3/4 of people on Obamacare are in states Donald Trump won. So maybe, just maybe, everybody should look at this and say, how do we actually fix the health care system?
Democrats want a 3-year extension of the COVID-era subsidies to keep premium costs from doubling for some 20 million Americans. But Republicans argue the subsidies are too expensive, and they don't want to pour more money into what they see as a broken system. Instead, the House is set to vote today on a separate plan of GOP-backed provisions aimed at reducing health care costs for all Americans. The Senate's top Republican acknowledging relief won't come before the subsidies expire.
I do think there is a potential pathway in January if Democrats are willing to come to the table on things that actually will drive down the cost of health care.
Moderate Republicans could offer an amendment in today's vote to extend the subsidies or join a Democratic push to force a vote, though both are a long shot. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Today is the last day to file to run for town council in Ellendale. The town says people must submit forms no later than noon. According to the town, there are 3 seats that are open, and officials will hold a special meeting tonight at 6 p.m. to announce the candidates. The agenda for that special meeting also states officials could set an election date if needed.
Tonight in Mobile, Alabama, a bit of history will be made when Delaware plays in their first ever FBS Bowl game. The Blue Hens are pitted against the Louisiana Ragin' Cajuns in the Ventures Bowl. Delaware finished their first regular season at college football's highest level with a 6-6 record. Kickoff tonight for this nationally televised game is 8:30.
And we're just getting started here on this hour of Coast TV News Today.
Yeah, coming up, Delaware statute debate. Why some lawmakers think it's time to take a Caesar Rodney figure out of storage. The pushback associated with that possibility.
Also, restaurant reaches approval. The new plans in Milton and why some people may not support more fast food.
Still ahead, hunting safety as season starts. We'll tell you what DENREC is recommending. And there is First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono. He's working very hard in the Weather Center there, and he is tracking a temperature increase. We check in with Chris next.
Good Wednesday morning, Delmarva. Halfway there, halfway to the weekend as we count down the days to Christmas as we take a live look in through Salisbury. 26 degrees there. Temperatures across the area, we're at 25. Harrington, slightly milder at the beaches. We are above the freezing mark, 36 in Lewes to 37 Indian River Inlet. Wind flow out of the southwest, so we're seeing some pretty nippy wind chills in areas away from the coast. Feels like 19 in Georgetown, 22 in Harrington. We have high pressure offshore, a weak cold front back off to the west, and we've had some below average temperatures really since the beginning of the month. 30 back on Monday, 39 yesterday. Average high is 50. Most of us are going to be right on par for that today with slightly above average temperatures the further you away from the beaches. Taking a ride on the ferry this morning, looking pretty good with those southwest winds gusting to near 25 miles an hour later on this afternoon. We'll talk about the rain rolling in Thursday night. I'll have the latest rainfall totals here in minutes.
Thank you, Chris. DENREC is urging hunters to take extra precautions during the state's upcoming waterfowl hunting season and the recent detection of bird flu. The state says a lab testing confirmed the virus in a sick snow goose found last Monday in Kent County. Hunters are asked to handle harvested birds safely and report any sick or injured wildlife to DENREC. That season reopens today.
Medical debt relief is on the way to Delaware. Governor Matt Meyer announced the first round of the state's medical debt relief program. The program is meant to wipe out up to $50 million of medical debt in the first state, with the first round set to eliminate nearly $19 million for more than 18,000 Delawareans. State leaders say the program targets households with lower incomes or high medical costs, and there's no application process. Eligible residents will receive letters confirming their debt has been erased.
All right, I know how to get Matt's attention. This is a fan favorite flavor of Oreo. Making a comeback 10 years after it first hit store shelves, Oreo now announcing the cookie dough Oreo.
Yes.
Will make a return starting December 22nd. This time around, the cookie will feature chocolate chip cookies instead of the traditional chocolate Oreo wafer and other new things that they're offering. Oreo Reese's cookies, Oreo muffins, Oreo cakesters, and Oreo Thins ganache, Matt.
Yeah, just some suggestions for the Christmas list there, Grace. The man simply known as the greatest is being honored with 2 stamps. The stamps featuring boxing icon Muhammad Ali will debut on January 15th. Ali was a 3-time heavyweight boxing champion, but he also used his fame to advocate for peace and humanitarian issues. And in 2005, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the nation's highest civilian honor.
That's a pretty cool looking stamp there. Well, temperatures are going to be rising above the 50-degree mark, and that's going to feel pretty nice today. 52 degrees. We'll have a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon, but we will talk about some unsettled weather down the road. A yellow alert in play for Friday morning. Of the latest and the break.
Time is 5:18, and you are looking live at the bright lights at Salisbury University. Chris Mastrobono is back with us, and after that big chill we've had this week, Chris, we are getting a bit of a warm-up.
Yeah, slowly making progress. We're going to have a little bit of everything this week. We went from snow, single-digit wind chills, then we're going to be pushing 60 over the next few days, then talk about rain and maybe even a rumble of thunder as we go into Friday morning. We'll have more on that here in a little bit. Ocean City, pretty dry right now. We're at 38 degrees, milder at the beaches, and you can see we're running a good 5 to nearly 11 degrees warmer than where we were just 24 hours ago. West of Coastal Highway, a little chillier. We're in the 20s, 24 in Redden, 26 in Georgetown. Winds are relatively light out of the south, but when they do kick up a bit, it feels like 19 in Georgetown, 21 in Bridgeville, and that is kind of our cold sector. Western portions of Sussex County feels like 21 there in Willards. A gale watch goes into effect tomorrow night through Saturday morning, and that's due in part to some high winds that we're expecting as a cold front pushes through on Friday. Small craft advisory up through 1 o'clock this afternoon along the Chesapeake Bay. We have high pressure that is sliding offshore. It's going to reintroduce more of a southwest wind, a weak front that's going to be diving southward today. That's just going to add just a few more clouds to the area, but our main cold front will be arriving on Friday. Highs today, 50 along the coast to 50 to 54 through most of the interior portion of the peninsula. So there's that weak front pushing through. Winds will pick up a bit through the afternoon, gusting 25 miles an hour. Partly cloudy overnight, increasing clouds through the day. On Thursday, we're going to be even warmer, upper 50s to lower 60s, and the rain will arrive after about midnight on Thursday. So for early Friday morning, we're looking at that rain to develop, and then that rain will be coming down heavy at times through early Friday morning. So a wet Friday morning commute, and that rain will be heavy with some rumbles of thunder. Winds will be picking up as well, gusting as high as 30 to 40 miles an hour. And then the rain should wind down by mid to late morning. And then we're looking at those winds to really continue through the afternoon as that cold front pushes through. So I think a general 3/4 to much as 1.5 inches of rain once all is said and done by midday Friday. And then those winds, as I mentioned, are really going to begin picking up late tomorrow night through early Friday morning. Out of the south, gusting to near 40-45 miles an hour. And then as that front pushes through, strong west winds will kick in, gusting to near 40 miles an hour through the day on Friday. So we have that yellow alert in play through Friday morning, due in part to the high winds and rain. That rain will be heavy at times, 61, and that high will likely come in the morning. We're going to fall through the day in the 40s. We're down to 42 Saturday, chilly, but overall a nice dry weekend, 53 in the Sunday, and then we're looking at highs in the low to mid 40s to start Christmas week. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. A new Dairy Queen is one step closer in Milton. Last night, the town's Planning and Zoning Commission gave its approval for the fast food chain. This is for construction right next to an already approved Dunkin' Donuts and in front of the Cypress Grove development. According to town documents, the restaurant would sit on less than an acre of land. Plans are getting mixed opinions in the town.
I think it's good for this area because before we always had to go into Lewes.
I'm not real happy about it. I think there's a couple of really nice local creameries in the area that I'd rather see people, go to.
Dairy Queen would have a drive-through and 32 parking spaces.
The Dunkin' Donuts planned for right next to the Dairy Queen. Now the Milton Planning and Zoning Commission approved that final site plan. That was back in October, and last December of 2024, McDonald's was opened just on the street on Broad Kill Road.
Up next on CoastTV News today, Delaware statue debate. This is over the Cesar Rodney statue. It's resurfacing in the state and the national spotlight it's getting. We'll be right back.
Delaware's controversial Cesar Rodney statue is back in the spotlight ahead of America's 250th birthday. Rodney was born near Dover in 1728. He was a statesman and a signer of the Declaration of Independence, best known for his overnight ride to cast Delaware's deciding vote.
He also owned enslaved people, and in 2020, his statue was removed from Wilmington and has been in storage ever since. State Senator Eric Buxton says it's time to bring the statue back.
The statue is drawing federal attention, with the talk of the statue being on temporary display in D.C. Critics say the statue showing only Rodney's ride does not reflect the full context of his living legacy.
Putting it in storage doesn't make history go away. And putting it on display doesn't celebrate the imperfections. It allows us to tell the imperfections, the very difficult times back then centered around specifically slavery. We should be able to tell that story.
Let's talk about the full history of Caesar Rodney, and let's also make sure that we're lifting up those other parts of our culture and not just lifting up the one voice that has kind of been, profiled for the last 250 years, and without a whole lot of criticism or real discernment of what his life and legacy was.
If plans move forward for a temporary display in D.C., the Caesar Rodney statue would be featured for America's 250th celebration. After that, its permanent placement in Delaware remains undecided, with one potential site being outside of Legislative Hall.
Hope your Wednesday morning is off to a great start. Delmarva, temperatures not all that bad at the beaches considering where we've been this week. We're at 38 in Ocean City, much colder west of Coastal Highway. Now highs today are going to get to near 50 degrees in Ocean City, Fenwick Island under a mix of sun and clouds. So a really nice afternoon, seasonable temperatures across the area. 48 in Lewes by around your lunchtime will fall to 45 by around 5 in both Rehoboth and Lewes. Winds will pick up a bit through the afternoon, gusting to 20-25 miles an hour. Cambridge 47 under a mix of sun and clouds. Crisfield 48 by around 4. That will certainly feel good after the really the frigid start to the week we've had here on the peninsula. Randall Mullen, congratulations, Berlin, Maryland, on winning an umbrella from CoastTV. And you can always call our First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. Coming up, we'll talk about temperatures rising to 60 degrees and the threat of heavy rain. I'll have more on that coming up in our next half hour.
After the break on CoastTV News today, flight incentives canceled. We'll tell you why some Delaware lawmakers are expected to file new bills that could impact airlines such as Avelo and others.
Also, property owner rental regulations, why some Lewes officials say people are breaking code and what could be done to clarify these rules.
And considering change to dog rules, we'll tell you what Lewes officials are set to discuss today about the furry friends and where in the city the change would apply. CoastTV News Today returns after the break.
Now on CoastTV News.
No bark at the beach, where Lewes officials are looking to keep dogs off the sand during the summer season.
Plus, lawmakers target airlines. The new legislation that could get to the floor of the Delaware General Assembly that takes aim at the businesses assisting ICE.
Good Wednesday morning, Delmarva. We're beginning in the 30s, pushing the lower 50s this afternoon, and it gets even milder in the days ahead with the threat of heavy rain.
Blue Hens Bowl Night. Delaware adds to their history with postseason FBS play.
This is CoastTV News Today.
December 17th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Grace.
Good morning, Matt. I'm Grace Eckerly. Thank you for being up with us today.
5:31 a.m. And Grace, we are 1 week away from the magic that is Christmas Eve.
I can't believe it. I think that was probably Christmas Eve has something special about it with the optimism that Christmas Day, you're kind of like always worrying about like the down part of it. And you're like, oh, it's going to be so sad when it's gone. But Christmas Eve might be one of the jolliest days of the year.
I know I could not sleep that night as a kid. We just
Absolutely
could not
not.
sleep because there was always like, what are you getting? What do you think you're getting?
And tracking Santa, would you do that? Well, I don't know if that was around during your time.
All right, well, let's move on to First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono, tracking Santa, tracking temperatures and other things. He's in the Weather Center. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt and Grace. Yes, we're tracking some cold temperatures this morning, but it really all depends about location. We're a bit milder at the beaches at this hour. We're at 26 in Salisbury, dry conditions, but take a look at this. This is a sign of milder times ahead. We're looking at about an 11-degree difference there in Ocean City, warmer than where we were at just 24 hours ago. We're about 10 degrees warmer in Easton. As I mentioned, we're above the freezing mark at the beaches, 33 Rehoboth, 36 in Bethany, but when you go western portions of the county, some of our more notorious cold spots. We're at 26 in Bridgeville. Winds relatively calm, but we are seeing some wind chills in the teens. It feels like 19 in Georgetown, 21 in Bridgeville, and it feels like 20 in Harrington. High pressure, which has been in full control of our weather pattern, has slided offshore, and that's opening the door for more milder air to move in through the area. So we're looking at a beautiful day ahead, and a mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon as a weak cold front pushes through. Turns even milder into Thursday. We're dry most of the day. Rain doesn't arrive until overnight Thursday in through Friday morning. So Friday morning is really going to be a slow morning commute. We're looking at all rain, but that rain could be heavy at times. Also, the winds are going to be a big factor as well on Friday. That's why we have that yellow alert in play. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on the newscast.
Thank you, Chris. And our top story this hour, rules for dogs on the beach in Lewes. Today, the city's ad hoc committee, they are looking at potential changes. The proposed ordinance, or the proposed changes, are looking to ban dogs on the beaches during the entire summer in restricted areas, which the city says are beaches with lifeguards. Now, they say this is to eliminate confusion and to prevent dog waste from being left on the beach. We did speak with some dog owners in Lewes who have differing opinions about the possible changes.
If they ban dogs during the season or while there are lifeguards on duty, that's something I couldn't even argue with or be upset about. It's a public beach, and a dog can always be a liability or to someone a menace or a nuisance.
Well, dogs are important for me to be on the beach. That's why I'm in Lewes. I've looked around a lot of different areas in the past.
Again, this is just a proposal, and the ad hoc meeting to go over the ordinance will take place this morning at 11 a.m. We're going to stay in Lewes for this next story because the city's also taking a look at the impact of its 2024 wetlands ordinance to private property owners. Again, this is part of that overall ordinance review ad hoc committee meeting that's today. And one area of attention is the ability to remodel existing structures or new structures. The ordinance regulating these areas states its purpose is to increase buffers around wetlands.
Here's a look at an accessory dwelling unit, which is when a main house and a second independent living space sit on the same property. Happening today, the Lewes Planning Commission will discuss the rules surrounding these properties, specifically the requirement that property owners must live in one part of the ADU.
In a beach community like Lewes, there are several existing ADUs which are both units and being used as short-term rentals, and those are people breaking the rules because according to code, the property owner must live in one of the units.
The Lewes Planning Commission gathers tonight at 6:30 p.m.
Happening this afternoon, BB Healthcare will break ground on its newest health campus in Millsboro. It's located near the new bypass at Sheep Pen Road and Route 20. BB says this new facility will include a freestanding emergency department with pediatric care, walk-in services, lab services, and a retail pharmacy.
Today is the last day to file to run for town council in Ellendale. The town says people must submit forms no later than noon. According to the town, there are 3 open seats. Officials will hold a special meeting tonight at 6 p.m. to announce the candidates, and the agenda for the special meeting also states officials could set an election date if needed.
New this morning, a Lewes man is facing charges. According to Delaware State Police, he's accused of a violent attack that left a woman critically hurt. Troopers say they were called to a home on Tidal Way just after 3 a.m. December 13th for a welfare check, and when police arrived, they found the woman inside suffering from life-threatening injuries. 31-year-old Shane Wendell was also found with serious deep cuts, and according to state police, the attack happened during an argument.
You may already know that Avail Airlines, which operates out of Wilmington, works with Immigration's Customs Enforcement on deportation flights, and now some Democrats in the Delaware General Assembly are looking to cut off incentives for airlines who do so.
2 new bills would block things like airport contracts and fuel tax breaks for airlines that fly detainees without proper court approval. The Democrats say the goal is to make sure public dollars don't support what they are calling reckless immigration enforcement.
The measures are expected to be filed this week and taken up when legislative session begins on January 13th. We are now taking a live look at Washington, D.C. before the sun comes up, as many Americans are saying it's harder to pay for things like groceries and holiday gifts. This just in, Bank of America's statistics show many low and middle income paychecks aren't keeping up with inflation.
Amy Kiley shows us new reports as the president prepares to address the nation tonight.
2026 is going to be a bountiful year.
The Trump administration is promising a happy new year for affordability ahead of the president's primetime address tonight. The White House says he'll look back on 2025 and look ahead to 2026. Economists and fresh data paint a complicated picture of affordability. A new report shows retail sales were flat between September and October.
Affordability is certainly an issue, but when you have higher income earners, it's going to be less sensitive for them.
A report out yesterday shows the unemployment rate hit a 4-year high last month.
We are in this sort of no hire, no fire type of market.
It also indicates the economy lost 105,000 jobs in October and gained 64,000 last month.
Over the last 6 months, there's been essentially no job growth. And there's 3 reasons for that: immigration, DOGE, and tariffs.
Another part of affordability is the cost of goods. Tomorrow's Consumer Price Index update will give insight into that. Statistics show CPI growth was easing for the first few months of the year.
Then what happened is you saw the president come into office and ignite the most inflationary policies in our lifetimes with these tariffs.
As for the GDP,
as we go into 2026, I'm still pretty optimistic.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
New overnight, the Providence Police Department has released a new video of a person of interest in the Brown University mass shooting. Investigators say the enhanced video came from a neighborhood near the scene of the shooting and was captured in the hours before it took place. Police are hoping the video will help to identify the person of interest who still remains at large, and that investigators still have yet to zero in on a motive for the attack.
And we have a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, a major vote on Maryland Highway. We'll tell you what lawmakers could decide for the Bay Bridge with an expected vote this week.
Also, early season basketball showdown, how Dover was able to dominate Cape in a Henley conference battle. Stay with us on Coast TV News today.
We salute Constance Speak, a law enforcement pioneer whose years of service continue to shape and strengthen the Dewey Beach Police Department. Since taking command as chief, she has led with transparency, integrity, and an unwavering commitment to the town's residents, businesses, and visitors. We honor Chief Speak for her leadership, her example, and her steadfast service to Dewey Beach.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
Good Wednesday morning, Delmarva. Cold, dry start to our day on the peninsula. Ocean City coming in at 39 degrees, one of our milder locations, but you can see further inland, we are in the upper 20s, 26, Georgetown, 27. Bridgeville, we're at the freezing mark in Dagsboro. Feels like 19 in Georgetown, 21 in Bridgeville, and it feels like 22 in Seaford. We have dry conditions across the area, high pressure to our south. We have a weak cold front. It's going to be diving southward through the day today. That's not really going to do anything as far as give us any precipitation, but you can see all the blue here indicating all the below average days we've had literally every day this month. Now today, we're going to be right on par for our average high to slightly above average. Average high is 50 degrees. Forecasting highs in the low 50s through the afternoon today throughout the Delmarva Peninsula. It gets even milder into Thursday, but then we have some heavy rain to talk about into Friday morning. I'll have more on that here in minutes.
Construction is getting underway at the US 13 Truck Weigh and Inspection Station in Wicomico County. The State Highway Administration is launching a $5.2 million upgrade to modernize the Delmar facility that was originally built in 1955. The project includes new equipment, better lighting, and updated inspection buildings. Work is expected to wrap up by next summer. And to learn more about this project, you can head to the article on our website, coasttv.com.
A major decision this week could eventually reshape how drivers cross the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. The Maryland Transportation Authority Board is set to vote Thursday on a plan to replace the existing Bay Bridge spans with 2 new 4-lane bridges. The proposal would also widen Route 50 and could add a bike and pedestrian path. State officials say if approved, construction would aim to begin in summer of 2032.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good morning, folks. Basketball season is heating up. A big game Tuesday night in Lewes. Dover traveling to the coast to take on Cape Henlopen. The Senators looking to bounce back from a tough weekend at the D1 Showcase at Salesianum. And Jordan Downing is going to kick us off here with this tough layup inside to tie it up at 2. Later in the first, Dover with an 8-4 lead, and Terrence Williams says, how about I add 3 more to that? It's an 11-4 lead for Dover in the first quarter. And then Joseph Taylor showing off the handle, gets inside, tough layup for 2. And Dover goes up by 7. Later in the first quarter, Javion Dennis, may I have this dance, gets in the lane, floater is good. Senators go up by 10 with this bucket. But then later, Downing did it inside. How about we go outside this time? Knocks down a 3, but Dover still has a 26-16 lead. And then Jamison Tangle, the quarterback on the football field, showing some patience inside the paint, cuts the Dover lead to 12. And then later, Dennis on the other end. That's just too much space. Can't leave him that open. Dover goes up by 13 in the third quarter here. And then Chase Little drives it inside, kicks it up to Troy Spencer. Spencer steps in, knocks down the pull-up J to go up 13. Then later, Cam Jackson, Dixon up high. Joseph Taylor down hard, centers led by 15 with that dunk. And then Terrence Williams, another 3, this time from the top of the key. Dover goes up by 17. And then Jamison Tingle, little window dressing for this one to make it a 17-point game. Dover would go on to win 65-49. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day.
And coming up tonight on DSN at 6, we have live NCAA women's basketball, and Maryland Eastern Shore hosts Towson. Then you can catch the final score at 10:30. You can also watch that game on DSN Plus. Along with these exclusives, we have high school wrestling starting at 5. Colonel Richardson visits Mardella. At 6, St. Mark's is at Caesar Rodney. 6:15, Seaford battles Laurel in boys basketball. And at 6:30, this one should be a good one. High school wrestling, Sussex Central and Decatur.
And if you're having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up now for free at coasttv.com/sign up to get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Fridays.
Time now to showcase how you are decorating your homes this holiday season. And today's holiday house picture is coming to us from Marion Salisbury. We saw this one yesterday, but we wanted to show it to you again because it was so nice with this tree and the railing there in the background. That is a great picture. Thank you, Mary, again, for sending this in.
Matt, I was trying to get a better look yesterday. I almost fell out of my chair at the desk trying to get close to the monitor. I need to see those ornaments. Like they are gorgeous. They are placed so delicately. It is a gorgeous tree from Marion. We'd like to thank you for sending in your photos. And if you would like your festive decorations to be shared in our broadcast, take a look at your screen and send in your photos by heading to our website, coasttv.com/holidayhouse. The time is now 5:50 a.m. as we are taking a live look outside to Ocean City. Chris, sun is yet to come up, but it looks like it'll rise over a little bit of a warmer day today.
Oh yeah, slowly thawing out after the frigid temperatures we've had this week, and that's going to kick off a warming trend here through the end of the week before a strong cold front comes through on Friday. We're at 26 in Salisbury, dry out there, and some areas are good 11 degrees warmer than where we were at 24 hours ago in Ocean City, 10 degrees warmer in Easton. You can see we're above the freezing mark at the beaches, 34 Rehoboth, 39 in Ocean City, but we're at 28 in Bridgeville, the freezing mark there in Laurel. Winds have been relatively calm, but at times we'll see some winds anywhere between about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So we see some cold wind chills, at least west of Coastal Highway. Feels like 19 in Georgetown. We do have gale watches. Those go into effect tomorrow night and run through early Saturday morning. We have a small craft advisory up through 1 o'clock along the bay. We're clear right now. We're doing pretty good. High pressure off to our south, retreating offshore. We have a weak cold front back off to the west. That's not our main front. Our main front doesn't arrive until Thursday night through Friday. Highs today 51, Lewes to 51 in Milford, 53 in Cambridge to 54 Salisbury, and 53 in Chincoteague. We'll see a few clouds rolling through the afternoon as that weak cold front pushes through. Partly cloudy overnight. Will dip upper 20s to lower 30s. Milder into our Thursday as clouds increase. Temperatures rising to near 60 degrees, and then the rain rolls in, but not until after midnight early Friday morning, and that rain will continue through Friday morning, heavy at times, so expect a slow morning commute by daybreak Friday. You could see some heavy rain pushing along the coast. Can't even rule out a rumble of thunder. Winds really begin picking up through the morning and into the afternoon as that front pushes through. The rain should wind down late morning, midday on Friday, and then we're looking at blustery conditions as temperatures crash. Rainfall on the order of 3/4 of an inch to a little over an inch. I think in some locations could see an inch to a quarter once all is said and done. Those winds really ramp up late tomorrow night through Friday morning, gusting to 45 miles an hour through the day. They'll shift out of the west once that cold front pushes through. So we're going to hit our highs for the day in the morning. So much milder start to the day. So you wake up, head out. Oh, it's going to be a warm day, 61. But by the afternoon, temperatures are going to be falling into the 40s. 50s. Saturday, we're back into the 40s for highs, so a chilly start to the weekend, but overall a dry, comfortable weekend with highs around 53 on Sunday.
We continue to receive your cards and our donations for our Bless Our Children campaign. We are raising money to ensure that every child on Delmarva has that special present to open during this Christmas time. And here is the latest card that we received in donation. Got this great winter scene of horses pulling a sleigh in the snow. And this one was sent to us by Dave and Shirley from Selbyville. And inside they have a good message for us to say, God bless you all. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much for your card and donation. Businesses can help by accepting the Shell Brothers Challenge of donating at least $1,000. And if you want to help, send a donation and a holiday card, and we may just read it on the air. Send a check or money order to the address on your screen or donate online at blessourchildren.org.
We have already helped to raise over $320,000 to help children and families this holiday season. And again, we would like to thank all who have donated. And the time's now 5:53 a.m. Time to check in with our coastal bet of the day. Matt.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, we're going to check in. This is Penny. Now, as you can see, Grace, Penny loves being outside. Just maybe not in the earlier part of this week. Penny was submitted to us by Pamela in Lincoln.
Thank you, Pamela and Penny. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. You can send us photos, tell us what makes them so special. If you take a look at your screen now.
That's where that QR code is. Scan that to get your friends to us, and then watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. And we have a warmer Wednesday in store. Some exciting news about that.
Very exciting. Chris, hoping it's a nicer day. Maybe if you haven't put up your Christmas decorations yet, it's a good day to get outside and do so.
That's a good idea, yeah, because I'll tell you what, look at this, by 9 o'clock, we're already going to be at it where we were at it for an average high yesterday. So that gives you an idea. We're going to be thawing out through the morning and afternoon. We'll get up to around 52 degrees this afternoon. 58 by Thursday, mostly cloudy skies. Rain rolls in Thursday night through Friday. That rain will be heavy at times into Friday morning's commute that we have a yellow alert in play. Mild start, temperatures crash through the day, and we're looking at cooler, drier conditions through the weekend.
Thank you, Chris. And coming up in our next hour, Can't with Canine, we have the early stages of a beach policy in Lewes that would not allow dogs during the busy summer season. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.